Welcome back. This is The Viewpoint, and we are talking about technical vocational education and training, that is TVET, which is celebrating 100 years since inception. And in studio, I'm joined by one Stanley Maindi, who is the Director of Technical Services at the Kenya National Qualifications Authority. Karibu sana to the studio.
Thank you, Mike.
How are you doing this morning?
Today I'm very happy to be here at KBC and to celebrate 100 years of TVET in Kenya.
So 100 years of TVET. Give us a little bit of a history around that.
Okay, thank you. First, I would like to thank the KBC for giving us this opportunity and joining other Kenyans in celebrating 100 years of TVET, because TVET has become a very critical component in the lives of Kenyans, especially when you are looking at employability of our youth and adults. And so 100 years comes in when you look at the first TVET institution in Kenya. And these celebrations are built around the first formal TVET institution in Kenya, which is currently the Kabete National Polytechnic, that was established in 1924. And in 2024, July 31st, we shall be celebrating 100 years of TVET. And the aim of this celebration is just to take stock of what has happened over the 100 years, the challenges, the progress we have made, and the opportunities that are available in TVET, especially those focusing on the enhanced employability of our youth. And so the aim of celebrating 100 years is to shout and pass a message of hope about the opportunities available in the TVET sector for Kenyans to embrace and be able to improve the employability, not just in Kenya, but across the globe.
But why now? Why have you chosen to celebrate this, the TVETs, or the achievements of the TVETs now?
Yeah, why now is when you talk of 100 years, it is unique. 100 years, you can imagine when we shall be celebrating another 100 years. That is a century, a whole century of TVET. And TVET in 100 years has done a lot for this country. There are many people who have gone through TVET who have been able to get employed and change livelihood for many Kenyans and themselves. And so the purpose of celebrating is also to align with the current reforms that the government is undertaking in the education and training sector. And the purpose of this is just to enhance employability of our Kenyans as in line with the Vision 2030. Even when you look at the current economic development plan, the bottom up, it is focusing on improved livelihood of Kenyans. And TVET has been identified as one of the critical enablers to employability. We always say that if education is key to employability, then TVET is master key. That anybody who has a skill has the highest opportunity for getting employment, both locally and internationally. And if you are not employed, you can be self-employed, you can also be an employer. And therefore, TVET has been given a critical role by our government to ensure that it is able to turn around the livelihood of many Kenyans. You realize the critical challenges affecting our country is lack of employment. And so TVET globally has been identified as one of the greatest platforms to provide employment jobs for our youth and even adults.
All right. This is very much welcome. And one of the things that comes out in all this is the aspect where not many Kenyans really embrace this aspect of TVET. Well, and this comes down well to perception. Many people think, okay, the targets of many students who are in high school and other institutions is completing their studies and also joining universities and other colleges, but the target usually is colleges. What about the aspect of changing perceptions of the not just the students, but also the people in as far as embracing TVETs is concerned?
Yeah, thank you, Mike. One of the challenges that has affected the TVET sector is perception, issues of negative perception by the community, the potential applicants, and even the employers. TVET for a long time has been taken as a place for those who have failed to pursue the academic learning. But looking at global reforms, even you look at the UNESCO recommendations, TVET has changed. The perception is changing very fast. TVET is being identified as being the link between education and the world of work. And so reforms nowadays are not focusing on just academic learning, that is focusing on attainment of bachelor's degrees and certificates, but it's focusing on a skill. And so anybody who has a skill has the highest opportunities of getting employed. And so the aim of this celebration is to go around the country, pass a message of hope, and explain the opportunities that are available in TVET for the potential applicants and even employers to also come and participate in TVET, because they're the ones who are going to employ the products of TVET. We're also talking to development partners who finance TVET to come and share with us and understand that in TVET there is success, in TVET there is hope. In TVET, it is a complete pathway to employability. And this has happened in most developed countries where a third of the people, 2/3 of the people who enroll go for TVET pathway, and they have been able to get employed very easily.
And it also narrows down to hands-on skills that students get in these TVET institutions. So most of the courses that are taught there are hands-on?
Yeah, thank you. You realize education nowadays has gone competence-based.
Yes.
And you can see we are having those reforms from the even basic education, from primary. Even in the TVET, we are transiting to competence-based education and training, where the focus is the competences one has acquired. And these are the skills now that will be required in performing a task. So when you look at a skill is the ability to perform a given task to the required standards. And so our education system has taken that pathway, which is now favored in the TVET sector. And therefore, that is why there is a lot of investment, there's a lot of focus on the TVET sector, because this is where now the road meets the rubber in terms of skills and competences.
I'm also in studio joined by Patrick Mucheni, who is the Chief Principal of Kabete National Polytechnic. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, thank you.
100 years of TVETs. What's your feeling about that?
Thank you, and let me start by thanking you for welcoming me to this show this morning. And as you welcome us here with the director, Mr. Maindi here, I think is a very good opportunity for TVETs in Kenya, because we champion issues in TVET. 100 years of TVET is, we are saying that there has come a time when TVETs in Kenya, we look at where they started. And the formal learning in TVET started way back in 1924. There was informal, but we talk of the formal learning started in 1924. Yes. And this is no other college than it started just here in Nairobi at Kabete National Polytechnic.
Yes.
And when the year 2024 came, I want to thank the ministry, because when we approached the ministry and we told them that we were thinking of celebrating the 100 years, they said this is 100 years for all of us, because it is not only Kabete that does skill training in Kenya. There are many other colleges. There are even other colleges that came 10 years later or those other years later, and they have contributed to this economy. So when we get 100 years is essentially, as my friend Mr. Maindi has observed, it's not very easy to come. So it was realized it's good we celebrate all of us, the TVET in Kenya. There are over 230 of us. and also those ones in the county government,
Yes.
because we all contribute to the skill acquisition, and we believe that within those 100 years, our economy has benefited.
Yes.
And that is why the concept of the TVET at 100 also brings in the industries. Because the TVET cannot just say that they are producing. We produce for who? We produce for the industry. And I think this now comes out to be a celebration for the skill, the people who have the skills, or who get the skills, and where we also market our skills. So TVET at 100 is generally geared towards those two partners, so that we come together, the trainer or the person who has been training, and the person who has been enjoying the skills, who happen to be the industries.
Yes.
Yeah.
What would you say has changed, let's say in the last decade, in terms of uptake, or the students or the people who are embracing joining TVETs?
Okay, I don't want to repeat what Mr. Maindi has said, that in the past, this TVET has been seen as a work for, kazi ya uchafu.
Exactly.
And it is not that it's something that has been liked. And you come to when we took independence, most people thought, the mindset of most of us Africans, we thought that with independence is you go to an office and sit on a white-collar job. And that mentality has really done a lot to us, and it has not come out very well. So that most people were not taking this TVET or acquisition of skills very positively. And then you realize, when you come back to the economy, people have come to realize, what does the economy require? In terms of skills, we require not knowing, we require the doing. We require the doing. And if you are going for this desk that we are sitting on, you don't want somebody to come and draw and tell you how it can look like. We require somebody who will actualize the idea. That is skill acquisition. So the economy now, as it grows, those are the people we require. So with the recent past, our population, or the Kenyans, have shown now interest in TVET. And you realize even the intake that was done by KUPS this year, you realize that even some people, over 10,000, shunned away from university, and they have the university admission, and they went to the TVET courses. And that shows that people can understand, because in actual sense, in a normal economy, we require one manager. And in production, let me say in production, we require one manager, and we require quite a number of people to do the activity. But this is a situation if you give an example of digging a trench. We are digging a trench. We want to believe that 9 people can, if 10 people are digging a trench, we want to believe that 10 people and 9 people can supervise, and 1 person digs the trench, which is supposed to be the other way around.
Yes.
It's supposed to be 1 supervisor and 9 to do the work.
Yes.
So I think that is the economy whereby the middle, we are supposed to broaden our middle level with the skills so that we grow. Yeah.
Besides the aspect of low perception for TVETs that people used to have, what would you say are the other major challenges that TVETs are facing today?
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Some of the key challenges has been the issues of access and equity. So, and the government has addressed it by expanding the TVET infrastructure, by opening a TVET institution in every constituency, so that there is promotion of access and then equity. Then we have been the issue of quality and relevance. So this one has also been changed again by investing massively in TVET, both government and the key stakeholders, in terms of equipment. So you'll find most TVET institutions have some of the latest state-of-art equipments that now are able to churn products that are market ready and with the prerequisite skills for our economy. Then we have had now recruitment of many qualified trainers to be able to train. And then we have also had in benchmarking with the relevant international standards to ensure that the TVET graduates we get in Kenya meet the national standards and also international, so that they are also able to move beyond. There's mobility in terms of employment and learning. And so you can see in 2018, we had an enrollment of around 50,000. Currently, we are having over 350 trainees within the TVET institutions. So you can see that signifies a massive change in perception. And then you look at government policies, they're all focusing on embracing TVET as a solution to the challenge of employability in the country. So through TVET, it's been seen as a pathway, is a master key to enhanced employability of most Kenyans in this. And then we're also able to, you can see the entry of industry players and development partners. We have so many development partners that are now have invested in TVET in terms of technical and financial support. And this shows that the change in perception and also in support for government goodwill in enhancing the capacity of TVET to address our national challenge of skilled workforce.
What about the aspect of enhancing the curricula?
Yeah, that's another one of the key reforms that have also taken place. We have had continuous reforms in the curriculum system, right from basic education through to university. And so you can see this country has now moved away from the traditional curriculum to competence-based education and training that is focusing on skill. And this is demand-driven training that is informed by labor market needs. You realize we have all talked about skills, the challenge of skills mismatch in this country. The issues of half-baked graduates has been because training has not been linking with the industry. So there has been a lot of linkage between TVET institutions and industry. So it is industry now that informs the kind of training, the kind of skills that are needed in our fast-changing economic and societal needs. You see, the economy is changing. The economy is seeking such specific skills. And the society is also seeking specific qualifications. Now they want short programs that will lead to employability. They are talking about micro-credentials. These are short programs that are able to enable somebody who enrolls in TVET institutions to access employment within a short time. People are no longer interested in pursuing long-lasting qualifications, taking 5 years. Somebody would want to come and take 3 months, train, acquire a skill, and get into the labor market and be able to serve.
Yes. Mr. Patrick, what would you say from your standpoint as a principal of Kabete Polytechnic? What would you say are the skills or competencies that students are gravitating more, especially in your institution?
Thank you. I want maybe before I come to that, I can also add what my friend was really talking about on the issue of the way TVET and the way the government is coming in to make sure that TVET is at home and we are somewhere. One of the things also, to add on what you're saying on trainers, the government is really embarking a lot on retooling the existing trainers so that they are able to go CBET way. Remember, because the curriculum is new, we are now going to, instead of the skill acquisition. So there is a lot of retooling when it comes to trainers. When they are employed, there's a lot of retooling. Number two, he has also talked about the curriculum. The curriculum has changed. In the past, we had the bodies that were designing curriculum and sending to us so that we can use the curriculum and train, you know that. Right now, the curriculum is being made by 2 partners. The same 2 partners who are to celebrate TVET at 100. That is the TVET and that's the school and the industry. So that you see in now the curriculum that we will roll out in TVET, they are sort of demand driven. They are coming from where the need, from where we are training. Those people whom we are training, where they are supposed to work, that is where we are generating the curriculum. And we partner and we make the curriculum together. That is now the new way. I now come to your question on the areas that are popular with the trainees. Now, I think If I may come to that, when I look at most of our admissions, and I told you these students are coming in because they're also listening to you people.
Yeah.
There is a saying that has been saying, ukitaka praba, utatafuta sijuta. Most people talk that way, patikani. So you look at the construction area. The construction area impacts a lot. It has those areas in masonry, plumbing, carpentry, architecture, civil, building. Those areas they are really coming up when it comes to enrollment. And also, the government has also equipped most of the colleges in those areas too. There's also this other area of hospitality. You realize there's also another field whereby a job is just on the next door.
Yeah.
So that area of hospitality is also very it's high. It's attracting students. Remember, also when you go to areas like those engineering, also electrical and all that, they support construction. So those areas are there. But we also the courses that have now come, like Mr. Maindi has talked about. We are making now short courses. So even that construction now is coming down to short courses like the tiling, the roofing. You see, some things that are a bit unique, so that we are able to get the very skilled, very highly refined skilled when it comes to a skill. So even that curriculum is a sort of what Mr. Maindi has talked about, is coming in the micro, very small training or micro credentials that will lead to a skill. Yeah.
Also, on the same,
yes,
you look at the economic pillars, our country's economic pillars, like housing, like building and construction industry, the digital superhighway. So you realize some of the popular skills are also linked to the key economic sectors. And so most of them are now enrolling in such for housing. You can see that the same now who are implementing the national housing scheme, the kind of massive skills required. We see now with the digitalization, globalization and digitalization, digital skills are becoming very popular. So where somebody can even work from the house. Issues related to environment, climate change, those are now global skills. In terms of global market, it is so much that even now at a national level, we are also investing in it for the purposes of just regional and global market.
Yes. Still on you, Mr. Maindi, some TVETs are accredited to train, but some are not accredited to award qualifications. Explain that.
Yeah, thank you. I think that is a good question, and that's where my organization, the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, comes in. And it's an institution that was formed to coordinate and harmonize education and training in the country to ensure that what we are training meets national standards and are of international comparability. And so when you talk of accrediting to award and to train, it means one has the mandate to just offer training. And then there are those now within the TVET sector, like the national polytechnics, have a legal mandate. They have a legal order that empowers them to develop curriculum, train, assess, and award qualifications in their name. And one of the institutions that have that is the Kabete National Polytechnic, that is what we call a qualification award institution, has been accredited. So it has both the training, the assessment, and certification mandate. And that is why some of the current reforms that this government has taken over to expand the TVET space and promote access to quality and relevant qualifications in the country.
And those reforms are also captured in the report of the Presidential Working Party on Education?
Yes, those reforms are in the sessional paper. You go back just recent sessional paper number 1 of 2019.
Yes.
The current recommendation of the Presidential Working Party report has also captured this and has also recommended the linkages between TVET institutions and industry in terms of training to ensure that what is taught and trained meets the labor market demands.
Yes. Mr. Mucheni, how can TVETs be positioned better to respond to labor markets, enhance employability, and also enhancing entrepreneurship?
Thank you for that. That is something I also want to relate with whatever we have talked about, the qualification. So before the way I can come into that, I want to observe that the government has really designed the economy in a way that there are so many those TVET institutions, but among them, one of them is a QAI, a qualification awarding institution. That design is geared towards that in that economy, in that Mombasa, in that area of coast, if we have a problem of boat making, it can the solution can be done there. They can research, they can do proper whatever, and they can make those things. They can solve their problem in that small region, and that's why there are these national polytechnics distributed all the way in the Republic of Kenya. Currently, previously there used to be 9, but they have also been increased to solve that problem. And now, when it comes to that, I'd said that when you are designing the training, it is not me, the expert, to design the curriculum. I don't know the problem of. I have to go to the economy, I have to go to the industry, study the problem, we develop the curriculum together. Then also, when we develop the curriculum together, we roll it out together. We are supposed to roll it out, the curriculum together. So that when we evaluate that skill, we are evaluating me and the industry, the training institution and the industry. When it comes to that, and that's why there are so many aspects, even some development partners who are really sponsoring the aspect of dual training, whereby the students or the trainee is supposed to be some time in class and maybe the other 50% of the time in the work environment. So when we do that now, that is now I think we are now going to the solution whereby the skills that we are going to give, they are going to be accepted by the economy, and by the end of the day, our investment will be very correct, because we will not train somebody like it has happened in the past. We train somebody maybe in engineering, and when we set that person to the industry, and then the industry starts again to train the person, to acquaint himself to the machines, to acquaint himself to a work environment. So I think, we tend to think the industry has employed. So they should not waste another time in training. And then the only solution was, we bring you inside. And I think the government has really worked on that, so that now the curriculum, and that's why these bodies are there. If you have not done the curriculum with the right person, it is not seeing the light of the day. It is not going through. And that is happening in all our national polytechnics. And that's why they have been given that mandate of a qualification awarding institution. You develop the curriculum together with the right person, you implement together with the right person, then we set the graduate outside, and we know we have done our work.
In the interest of time, I want you to give your closing remarks and tell us what you expect to be the outcome of the celebration.
Thank you, Mike. Well, your last question actually focused on the goal of the celebration, to modernize and reposition TVET to effectively implement its mandate. TVET, despite the government investing massively, it has yet to realize its full potential of providing employment to our youth. And so we are focusing that at the end of the celebration, we shall have brought on board industry players, development partners to participate in the implementation of TVET. We also focus to change the mindset, reach out to very many Kenyans and shout the message of hope, and market to them the existing potential opportunities within the TVET sector for potential learners, for potential industry players and development partners, both local and to come and take care, participate in its. So, and at the same time, we shall be focusing to increase quality and relevance in terms of the equipment and the number of trainers involved in implementing TVET. And one thing we didn't mention is we are also moving towards dual training, where half of the training is done in a TVET institution, another half in the workplace or the industry, so that one is able to come out with the current industry market skills that are needed to drive our economy.
Your closing remarks.
On the TVET at 100, I want to say all of us, you will see we celebrate our birthdays. And when we celebrate our birthday, the intention is you really appreciate yourself.
Yes.
And also in that celebration of the birthday, we say, may you live 1,000, may you blow 1,000 candles.
Yes.
So in this celebration, we want to start somewhere and celebrate TVET in Kenya.
Yes.
And then also in that celebration, we'll also look back on what has happened and how we can improve it and make a report so that we can now see the future with a better eye, and that will improve our TVETs in the Republic of Kenya.
Yes.
So I think it is a high time we would wish to welcome all the TVET stakeholders, all the industries, our development partners, so that we celebrate this investment that we have done for the last 100 years. We look at the investment and now design for our future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time to come to our show.
Thank you too.
That is Patrick Mucheni, who is the Chief Principal at Kabete Polytechnic, and also Stanley Maindi, who is the Director of Technical Services at Kenya National Qualifications Authority. That is where we cap matters this discussion. Don't go too far. Good morning, Kenya. Continue shortly.